I thought it was going to be a weight loss transformation, but it was actually I'm just living my best life transformation. We really need to challenge our perceptions of what fitness is and what people think fitness instructors should look like.
Hello and welcome to Creatives Like Us, where I speak with creatives of colour who share journeys and stories and ideas and how they can inspire and open up avenues in creative industries. I'm your host, graphic designer Angela Lyons, and with the help of my guests, I will bring you insightful interviews and compelling stories that can inspire you to think about things differently or shape your next move. Being a creative of colour can bring its challenges, highs and lows and in-betweens. But this podcast is about amplifying our voices and celebrating together. So, are you ready? Let's get started with Creatives Like Us. Hi, Nana. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a real privilege to have you on today, and it's a real honour for joining with Creatives Like Us. So thank you for coming along.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I'd love you to tell people who you are and what type of creative you are.
Yeah, so my name is Nana Crawford, and people know me on Instagram as This Black Woman Can. And I also have a dance fitness business called Jiggle. And the type of creative, I'm a movement creative. So I love to get people in a space where they can be creatives with their bodies, with their minds, with their souls, and have that kind of deeper connection with themselves.
Wow. So how did it all start? How did you start wanting to dance? And is that your full-time job or is it? So I know some people that have been on before that it's like they have, I want to say side hustle, but say, a different job, should we say? Or is this what you do full-time? And how did you start?
So this is currently what I'm doing full time now as of 2025. And how did I start? So I started dancing in 2020, and it was after years of trying to get more active, but years of thinking that I needed to lose all the weight that I had gained after I had children. And nothing had worked. And I had done diets and put the weight back on. I had done fitness plans and put the weight back on. I had done personal trainers and gym stuff and put the weight back on. And then eventually I was like, there's something not quite right here. So I need to just take a break because mentally I was just completely drained. I felt really like unmotivated by all my efforts. And I was like, I'm just going to focus on my kids because if I can focus on my children and bring them up, then at least I can do one thing right because losing weight is just not happening for me. And then it came to like 2020 and I was like, okay, I really want to try and get back into being active and discover who I am again because I had successfully to myself had immersed myself into this mum role and the
Yeah.
wife role. I was like, I'm a great mum, I'm a great wife. But if I take those two things away, what am I left with? Then I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know. I could say that I work in marketing, but is that really me? Is that who I am? And my husband was like, well, you love dancing. And I have always loved dancing. I've loved bring up, my parents played music all the time in our house and they would always be dancing. And it was a very joyful environment every time there was music. I thought, you know what, let me just try dancing. And someone that I knew suggested samba as a dance because they were like, it looks incredibly difficult. And I was
I was
like,
going to say, that's not the easiest one to start off with.
I know. And she was like, but I feel like you're one of those people that she goes, you love a challenge. She's like, you're so competitive. She's like, I think you'll nail it. And I was like, all right, challenge accepted. And honestly, I went to a samba class and it was the most difficult thing I've ever stepped into. But I loved the music and I loved the idea of if I can become really good at this, then maybe that's something that I can really focus on and it can be a great achievement for me. And that was the class that basically opened my eyes to movement. And then we went into lockdown because it was 2020 and
Oh, so
COVID.
did you start the
So I
samba
did
class before?
yes, I started before, I did one class before, went into lockdown and I was like, what am I going to do now? And I ended up doing all of it online. So I did it all online. I was doing samba 3 days a week at home on the weekends. And I loved it because for the first time I had balance. I had balance between being able to do something that was physically active for myself and my family were around and my kids saw me learning samba. They would join in
Yeah.
with me and it was really, really nice.
Quite joyous too,
It
isn't
was
it?
so joyous, so joyous.
Yeah.
And basically that journey of me learning to love this type of movement really like switched something in my brain. And that's when I realized that all those times that I was looking for this fitness, looking for, trying to lose weight, I had the complete wrong idea of what fitness and joyful movement should be, and I had this notion of, before, I had to move because I needed to lose weight. I'd had my kids, I need to lose weight. That was the only goal. Whereas now I was moving because I loved it and because
Yeah, and
it
you're
brought
enjoying it.
something. I was enjoying it. And my body was changing, my body was becoming stronger. I was learning to love my body. I was realizing that I could challenge myself a bit more. And the more I did it, the more I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with movement. And it came to 2022. So this is like 2 years in. And then I was just like, my husband was like, you can do this for other people. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you could teach. And I was like, no, I don't have the patience for it. I can't teach. Like, I had zero patience. And he was like, you'd be surprised. He goes, you have a lot of patience considering you have children. So yeah, then I started very small, kind of, friends and family teaching here and there. And it's just kind of grown over that. And in 2023, I got my exercise to music qualification, did my first aid qualification. And really, I would say 2023 is when I started to like throw myself in. 2024, when I was like, okay, maybe this can be something really big. 2025 is now where I'm like starting to really believe in myself. And I just want to keep going, keep pushing. And I really want to help as many women as possible feel the way that I felt about movement, that it doesn't have to be punishing, it doesn't have to be restrictive, and it can just be fun.
It's fun. Your class, I've been to one of your classes, but I was at a party and you were there, and I just thought, this is so much fun. And all of us at the beginning were like, what are we going to do? And then as soon as the music started going, we were like, this is so much fun. And that's the thing, is spreading joy. It's not just that person, that individual doing it. You're even a group of people too that are spreading joy and just getting into it and getting into you, because you are really infectious too. You make us
Oh,
smile.
thank
You
you.
make us encourage us to dance. It's just, yeah, that's another reason why I asked you to come on today, because I just think that you were just so inspiring, and hopefully you
Oh,
can
thank you.
inspire some other people here. Yeah, it's great. So when you were, just so go back into the timeline. So
Hmm.
you were learning the classes online. So somebody was teaching you the
Yeah.
classes and then you were doing them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was learning samba classes online, and then I decided to take up other forms of dance. So I did bachata, I did some salsa, I did belly dance, and then I did twerk. And everything was just really, for me, the focus was joy. It was always the focus, joy, joyful movement. And that's now the focus for me when it comes to my classes. So now I teach samba and I teach twerk to lots and lots of women, and just try and get them to get out of their heads and into their bodies. That's my main goal.
Mhm. I just had, when I first met you, I was thinking, I recognise you from somewhere. It was the Instagram. It's like I'd seen your videos online. So could you tell us a bit about why you decided to go online and start showing people your dance? Because that's, first off, I don't know if you said you were in marketing before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So imagine marketing, and you're marketing your own business. Imagine us like a single, soulpreneurs, marketing our own business, and we don't want to put our face in front of the camera. You actually stepped in front of the camera and just danced. And it
So
wasn't like those silly TikTok dances, that all the teenagers do. It's like proper dance.
so funny because I always get asked this question a lot. Honestly, back then I had 300 followers, and it was just mainly friends and family. And I just wanted to show them that I was stepping out of my comfort zone. And I just wanted to show them that I was doing something different. And I also I said to myself, if I post this, then I'm now holding myself accountable. I'm going to post it and I'm going to say, I'm going to get better. I'm going to put it out there in the universe and tell myself I'm going to get better. And hopefully I will get better. That was kind of my initial thought. And yeah, so it was honestly just to share and just to hold myself accountable. Because I think whenever we start something, it's very easy to quit. And it's very easy to just be like, oh, I'm just not going to keep doing this. I'm just going to, no one will ever know. No one will ever know. I can just, put it back there. So for me, I was like, once I put this out there, that's it, Nana. You're committing yourself. You're putting it out to your friends and family. You're telling them, I'm going to learn samba and I'm going to become really good. It's like,
It's like you have to put it out there. It's not
yeah,
even
exactly.
manifesting. You're like actually doing it.
Yeah. And the more I did it and the more I would get just like my friends messaging me being like, wow, like this looks intense. This looks amazing, but good for you. Like good for you doing that. And the more I did it, then I started to show my progress, started to show my kind of before and after. And that resonated with so many women. And I think the thing that I recently posted that I thought was that really stood out for me was that someone messaged me and said, when they came to my videos, they thought that my transformation was going to be a weight loss transformation because that's what
Really?
social media is just filled with. It's filled with this is me before, this is me after, like 10 sizes down and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. They were like, I thought it was going to be a weight loss transformation, but it was actually I'm just living my best life transformation. And they were like, it just made me smile so much because I could literally see you getting more and more confident in your videos, getting more and more energetic. I could actually see you getting physically stronger, getting better at samba, but also just loving life. And she was like, we just need more transformations like that. And that's what I think has been the crux of my journey, like that enjoyment. The more I've done it, the more I've enjoyed it, and the more I want to show people that a transformation doesn't have to be this was me before, this is me after. It was this was me before, I don't know where it was going. This is me after. Look at my confidence, look at my joy, look at how it's changed not only my life, but my children's life. Like my son is now a break dancer,
Oh, wow.
and he loves music. My daughter's now starting to learn samba and I'm teaching her. So it's completely changed my life, honestly.
And what I also love about that is that you didn't have to go to like a massive studio or a
No,
gym. You were doing it in your home, and like people were saying, this is like a regular person that looks like me and like has got a home like me, and like I can dance anywhere where I want to dance and just get on with it. Basically, and that's what I loved seeing about your videos and how the transformation is just like you being at home. But it's actually I don't need to go and spend loads of money in a gym. I can do it at home. And I
yeah,
know that was part of like lockdown. People were at home, but even now when I look at your videos, you're at home. But
I'm
it's
still at
just
home. Yeah,
you're
yeah.
still at home.
I'm still at home. Do you know what? I love the space that I create myself. And I love the fact that I don't have to go. Like now sometimes I go to studios and I teach in studios and stuff, but I also teach online because I want people to be able to access what I had access to and to be able to find joyful movement at home in their own homes and make a space their own. What I love is that sometimes I can look back on videos that I've posted and done and think to myself, right after I finished that video, I had to do 3 loads of laundry and then I had to make sure that the kids were ready for school. I had to do my daughter's hair, to do my son's hair, and I can just kind of get back into that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
reality. So I think anything in terms of like movement, the thing that I really want to make clear is that it can be really accessible, and accessibility isn't just about who can access your class, but where they can access your class. And I think it's really important that as we continue to move on and we continue to, let's say we step into the world of, where we're still returning back into spaces, but let's not forget that some people's spaces are their homes and they love being in that space. So I want to always be able to offer people that option to be able to find their joy, find their confidence within their own spaces.
I love that. Just finding their joy in their own spaces. That's so cool. That's really nice. Really, really nice. So what are you working on at the moment creatively, even in your business?
So the thing that I'm working on creatively now is I'm trying to almost link everything together because at the moment I've got some classes here. I might want to do a couple of classes there. I've got my online classes here, but I need to find what is it that joins everything together and almost be able to offer a complete creative movement transformation for people. So that's the next thing that I'm working on because when people ask me, like, how have you got to this stage? How have you found your confidence? Yes, a lot of it has been dance, but a lot of it has also been my mindset and working on my mindset and working on how I think about myself, how I feel about myself, how I talk to myself. So it's not just dancing is going to get me through it. There's a lot of work that's gone in
Or background
between.
work, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, how can I bring more of that to the forefront to help people so that people don't think if they just come to my studio and dance with me, that's it. They're sold. You're done.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
found your joy, tick, done. How can you carry that on and how can you implement it into your life? Because there are going to be moments that you're going to face that aren't so joyful and are going to really test you and are almost going to try and set you back into that mindset of I can't or I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough. So it's what do you do when you're not dancing in those moments? How can you get yourself through those moments? And that is the next step for me is to be able to offer people the tools and techniques to be able to do that.
Yeah. Sounds like a bit like coaching, really, I suppose. mindfulness coaching
It
within movement
does, it
coaching.
does, but I don't wanna be a
No,
coach.
you don't want to be a coach. You don't want to be a coach, but it is a form of coaching through your
It
body and
is.
movement,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, you have to, frame it into a way to say not use the word coach, but yeah. Well, I know sometimes I just feel like I go to the gym but I know that when I come from the gym, I know I feel, it releases all the lovely endorphins, is it?
Endorphins.
And yeah, but then afterwards you're like, oh, then you've got to think about it, getting there again tomorrow. It's just, so you need to be equipped with that to make you keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always about remembering, like you're saying, remembering that feeling that you had after you've done that activity and trying to almost associate it with something. So for me, now when I go and teach, I try and use my commute to think about how much joy I'm going to be bringing to people in the class. And I get excited listening to the music and think about the ways I'm going to encourage people to move. And, that's so rather than taking a train journey into, oh, I've got to get to that place, I use it as a creative moment to just be like, how can I make people sweat lots today? How can I
Yeah,
torture my student in the nicest way so they don't realize how much they're going to sweat?
yeah.
And then the same thing on the way back, I can use that train journey to reflect on the sessions that I've had and really celebrate all those like moments and message people and say, well done, you did really great today. Because I'm able to tell in class when people are not so, they're second guessing themselves. So I'll always make a note and message them immediately after class and be like, you did really great today. You totally nailed this routine, or, you showed up for yourself. And that's what matters. So it's again, that's what I mean by like taking those moments rather than thinking about the fact that, oh, I've got to get over there and I've got to do this thing. Think about the joy that you're going to get once you get to that destination and the joy that you're going to have when you're in there and you're doing the thing for yourself. And then how you can just afterwards reflect on it and just be really proud of yourself and give yourself a pat on the back for being like, I did this.
That's really nice. And it's really nice that you actually contact people after, especially if you notice something in them that they, might have felt a certain way or they looked a certain way. It's really, that's really positive because, that could really make somebody's day, makes such a big difference. So,
Yeah, I think it's really important because I just remember a teacher that I was learning with did that with me. And I think they must have noticed online that I was just really in my head. And they messaged me afterwards and they were like, you did so good. Like, why were you like, what's going on? And I just said, I don't think I've made any progress. And they're like, you have made progress. I can see the progress that you're making. You might not be able to see it. And I thought that completely changed my attitude as not as a student, but also as a teacher, because you have a responsibility when you're a teacher to not only create that safe, inclusive environment, but to create a space where people can feel free to make mistakes and can second guess themselves, but not at the detriment of their growth. So, yeah, so I always find that, and there'll always be one person that I'm like, they didn't think they did well, but they did really good. So
and you have to go tell them.
let me just drop them a little message, or I'll try and find them at the end of class and be like, well done, like you did
Yeah.
great. So,
Brilliant.
yeah.
That's so nice. That's so good. That's lovely. So on your journey, because obviously, well, some people start off with their careers and their journeys of saying, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to be this. Was
Yeah.
there anyone that in your journey said that you should really try this? I know you used to mention your husband. Was there anyone else that really pushed you? Like I call this like the catalyst connection. Was there anyone else that said, what about this? Have you thought about this?
So what's really interesting is as I got more and more confident and started to do my dance stuff as a side hustle back then, where I was working, my colleagues would always be like, why aren't you doing this full time? They're like, obviously we don't want you to quit, but also you
Yeah.
should quit because they're like, you really enjoy it and it's made such a difference to your life and maybe you should think about it. And I remember when I left my job at the Red Cross, and I said, I'm going to give this kind of a go. It was so nice to have everyone be happy for me to do that.
Oh,
And they're like, we're
lovely.
really excited to see this happen for you. I then went into another job because I scared myself into doing this full time. And I was like, panic, no, go get
I've
another
got to
job.
pay bills.
Yeah, exactly. So I went into another job, and even in that job, at Marie Curie, they were like, "Why don't you do this full time? Like, you should do this." And it was just like, if everyone keeps telling me this, maybe I need to just listen because
The
even the
universe
place that
is
I'm
speaking.
working is telling me that I need to just do this full time. So I would say that like something that I have learned to do is listen to those around me and listen to the feedback that I'm getting because if they're seeing something that I'm refusing to see, then maybe I just need to take off my blinkers and just be like, okay, maybe they see something. And again, it wasn't like, it was never malicious. It was always like, we love having you here in the workplace and we love working with you. We love what you bring to work, but we can see something for you over there. And we know that there's something for you over there. So why don't you just go over there?
Over
Just
there. That's
get out.
amazing. Two jobs actually said that to
Yeah.
you. Two places of work said that to you.
Yeah. They were like, you
That's
should be doing
amazing.
this. Like, why aren't you
Yeah.
doing this?
You made the leap and
I
you
made
did
the
it.
leap. I did it.
Wow.
Scary.
It is scary going into setting up a business by yourself, but you know what? If you didn't do it, what would happen? You'd be in another job and they'll be telling you the same
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Why are you here?
Why are you here? And you'd be like, why am I here? I'm off again. Brilliant. And actually, you know what? Another question I'd love is who would be your dream project or who would you love to work with?
Oh, so I think in terms of where I'm going, I would love to get, at the moment, my classes are here and there. I'd love to have a more fixed schedule where I can say, this is where you can find me, this is how you can access me, and it's all very clear and very nice. I would love to own my own studio. That's the big goal. So I would love to own my own studio where people can come and it's mine and it's a space that I own, that I've created, that people can know that the classes that I'm creating are all here, because I think that would be really, really lovely. A project that I would love is I would love to work with a group of women who think they can't dance. I would love to. I'd love to find a group of women who have told themselves or convinced themselves that they're not going to be able to dance at all. And I would love to just work with them to get them to the stage where they feel confident and they know that what they were doing was just limiting themselves and get them out of their heads. I'd love a little project like that where it's like, let me take these women and let me work with them, let me dance with them, let me teach them everything that they need to know and get them into this really like comfortable, confident state. That would be amazing.
That sounds really cool. That actually sounds like a reality TV program too.
It
Maybe we
does,
should
right?
you should maybe like contact maybe
Yeah.
Channel 4 or some production companies or something like that.
I should. It could be like, I was thinking of titles the other day because I was like, because my whole thing is about like Jiggle. So I was thinking, could it be something like from, because again, it's always about the home and the kitchen and being at home and being like a homebody. So I was thinking, could it be like something like from the home to the Jiggle kingdom or something
Yeah.
like that, where it's like
Yeah.
taking people who have lost faith in their ability to move and giving them back their faith in their ability to move would be amazing.
That'd be so cool. That'd be wicked. I'll watch that. That's on TV. Gosh, I was saying that I loved when I was out on Friday, and as soon as I mentioned, I said I'd done a twerking class, and they said, "Oh, was it Nana?" straight away, and I was like, "Oh, do you know her? She's famous." And like, she's like, "Oh, she's famous," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then we started talking about twerking, and that's when
Yeah,
I
so
thought about you.
and I think like I say that like my one of my goals with my twerk classes is to reframe how twerk is seen because twerk has become such a taboo word. And as soon as you say twerk to people, I can see people's eyes and I can see them thinking and I know where they're going. And I want to pull them back because I want them to, rather than think twerk, Miley Cyrus,
When you said twerk, I had this vision of Miley Cyrus. I'm like, I know that is not Miley Cyrus. I knew about twerking before Miley Cyrus.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas I want people to think twerk. When they think twerk, I want them to think joy. I want them to think freedom. I want them to think Africa. I want them to think incredible Black women moving their bodies powerfully. I want them to think culture. I want to have a different word association for twerk rather than what it is and how people see it now. And I think that that's so important because I grew up twerking, but it wasn't called twerking in my house. We called it dancing. Imagine we just called it dancing. But now if I tell people, oh yeah, when I was younger, me and my dad were twerking in on Sundays after church. How weird does that sound? It sounds so weird, like you and your dad were twerking after church. Okay. Whereas we were just dancing. We were dancing. We were having a laugh. We were just moving about, and that's what it is. If you go to Africa, they're not like today we're going to twerk. They're just going to dance. We're just going to dance, and unfortunately, that's how we have to kind of label it and sell it. But when people come to the class, I always love to give them a moment of education and appreciation and celebration for Black culture, for Black women, for, to get them to understand that we shouldn't be here policing Black women's bodies for moving in this way. We should be celebrating alongside
Yeah.
them. And that's
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
what I want to try and do.
yeah. That's so cool. That's really good. Education too. Education and
Education, yes, right?
brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you. I was going to ask, but have
Yeah.
there been any barriers in your business and Jiggle Fit so far, or is there anything? Because I'm sad to say, I did see something really horrible online about some negative comments that stupid people make online. Is there anything like awful, but you've twisted it around and something positive came out of it?
Yeah, I would say that, like, because I am a curvy size 12, size 14 Black woman, and I don't have the, let's say, the like Instagram aesthetics in terms of what people think a fitness instructor should look like. I don't have flat abs. I don't have six pack abs. So going through that whole journey has been probably one of the hardest in terms of, especially once you start to go viral, people have access to you and they think that they can just tell you whatever it is that they're thinking or feeling at that time. And things that all often came up was, well, if you started samba and now you're super active, why haven't you lost weight? I was always like, why? Why haven't you lost weight? Why haven't you done? And it was like, but why do I have to lose weight? Why can't you just see how much better I am? Why can't you just see the skill that I've gotten? And now it's like this fitness journey, being a fitness instructor. I actually had someone message me and they were like, no, they started off with no offense. So it's going to be offensive as soon as
It's going
someone
to be
says,
offensive. They're trying
no
to protect
offense,
themselves.
but
Yeah.
they were like, no offense, but I love what you teach. And I was like, okay, I love what you teach, but I could never learn from you because your body is just really off putting. And I was like,
Rude.
thanks. No offense,
Oh my
no
God.
offense taken. And yeah, and I just get comments like that where
How do
people
you
think
handle that?
that.
Do you even reply to that? I mean, I would just blank that, but do you even reply to that?
So
Gosh.
it depends. Some of them I feel like, if it's like a misconception of what a fitness instructor should look like, then I will reply to it because I feel like a response like that deserves to be public so that people can understand that A, it's not acceptable to talk to people like this,
Of
and B,
course.
we really need to challenge our perceptions of what
What
people
fitness is.
think, yeah, fitness is and what people think fitness instructors should look like. If it's just someone being really mean and really rude, I just block them and just, ignore them. But it can be, I guess, when you get lots of comments, in that same vein, it can be really heavy mentally. And there would be lots of times where I would just be like, maybe I should just, stop posting. Maybe I should just kind of hide away. It would never stop me from doing it, but it would always make me second guess whether I should be doing it so publicly and being so public about it. But then on the plus side of it, I would then get a message from a woman who's just like, I've just seen your video and I love the fact that you talk about having a belly and that you talk about the fact that your belly was your home for your children when you were
Yeah.
pregnant.
Beautiful.
And now you're shaking your belly, you're shaking your home. And so like it just made me feel a lot more confident about my own body. So those are the messages that I have to try and like hang on to, because if I get too deep into those negative messages, then they win, right? And we
Of
can't let
course.
them
Yeah.
win.
Don't let
We
them
cannot
win.
let we can
And you've got to carry on doing what you're doing because you are inspiring so many women out there. So you've got to keep on going. You really have to.
Yeah. So that would,
I wish.
I'd probably
Yeah.
say that is the negative side
Yeah, I
of
suppose
it.
that's the whole online and showing yourself online, isn't it? And but you got to keep. Actually, could you tell people your Instagram handle and your website?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my Instagram handle is this black woman can all together. And then the other one is Jiggle Fit with two I's. So FIIT. And yeah, so if you want to look at lots of jiggly bums, then Jiggle Fit. If you want to look at my jiggly bum, then this black woman
Oh
can.
my gosh. Should I put that as the caption when I put this episode out? Look at some bums, some jiggly bums. Let's see how many hits we get. That's so funny. I'd love to know, what would you, just to wrap things up, well, it's two more questions, to wrap things up. What would you tell your teenage self?
Oh, that's a great question. I guess what I would tell my teenage self, because when I was young, I did actually do dance. I did salsa. at secondary school. But then when I was ready to go to uni, I just stopped because I just thought it wasn't really a career for me and that I couldn't possibly do it. So I would go back and tell my teenagers, don't you stop those classes because you are going to be really, really good. Okay. Don't worry about the perception of, that it's not a real career, all that kind of stuff, because you enjoy it and you love it. So just keep it in your life. Okay. Even if it doesn't become your career, keep it in your life. So I would tell my younger self to not stop those dance classes that she was doing.
That's lovely. That's lovely. And look at you now, samba
No,
queen.
I
And samba's
know.
hard.
Samba is next level hard, man. Like, even when I'm teaching, it's so funny because if I'm teaching it to people, I try and ease people in. But in my head, I'm thinking, dear Lord, how am I going to get these people to this level? Because I was cussing my teacher when I was learning. So they must be cussing me.
But what happens? You stuck with it.
Exactly.
And look at you now. You've built a business around it and you're enjoying it. Look at you. You're happy. Oh, it's brilliant. Okay, so wrapping up is the quick fire fun invite question. And you
Oh,
have to
okay, yeah.
answer very quickly. So it's one or the other. So crisp or chocolates?
Chocolate.
Beach or forest?
Forest.
Book or Kindle?
Book.
Reggae or soul?
Reggae.
Reggae.
Yeah, reggae.
Patty or a sandwich?
Patty?
Ah, I love that. No question.
What type of sandwiches? What?
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Nana, for talking with me. And I will put all your links in the show notes. And oh my gosh, I think I need to go and listen to samba music and watch you again online and try and move myself again. Oh my gosh. But if anyone wants to join Nana's classes, you can find her on Instagram and join her classes. She's honestly, I've done her class and she is so brilliant. She's just,
oh, thank you.
Makes you laugh and makes you just want to move your butt.
Move your booty. Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I've loved it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Let me start by giving thanks. Thank you for tuning in to Creatives Like Us. I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it thought-provoking, inspiring and entertaining. If you did, it would absolutely make my day if you could share, subscribe, rate, review, wherever you get your podcast from. Also, if you have a question or a comment, I'd love to hear from you. All the ways to connect are in the notes. Until next time, keep being creative like us.